All right, everyone, I'm calling this executive committee meeting to order at 10:05 a.m. Before we begin, I'd like to do a territorial acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that the SFSS is located on the traditional unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Katzie nations. Unceded means that these territories have never been handed over, sold, or given up by these nations, and we are currently situated on occupied territories. Next, we'll move on to the roll call of the attendance. I'll call on you by your position, and please give us your name, pronouns, and access needs. I'll start with acting president. Hi, everyone. My name is Abby, he, him pronouns, and all my access needs are met. Next, we have the acting VP internal and organizational development.
Hi, my name is Peter, he, him, his pronouns, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you, Peter. Next, we have the acting VP finance and services. Oh, sorry, no, he's not here yet. Acting VP University and Academic Affairs.
Hello. Sorry, am I doing just pronouns?
Yeah, name, pronouns, and access needs. Yes, please.
Okay, perfect. My name is Chloe Anderson. My pronouns are they, she, and my access needs are met.
Thank you, Chloe. Next, we have the VP External and Community Affairs.
Hi everyone, my name is Ishana, she, her pronouns, access needs met. Just one thing, hopefully that this meeting ends around like an hour and a half, just because I'll have to leave then. But otherwise, everything's all good.
Awesome, thank you. Next, we have the VP Equity and Sustainability.
Hello everyone, my name is Songyan, she, her pronouns, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. And next, we have our VP Events and Student Affairs. V. V, can you hear us? I'll give you a sec in case you want to put it in the chat, but in the meantime, acting VP Finance and Services, would you like to do an intro? Roscoe? Can everyone else hear me? Yes. Audio is on. Good. Yes. Okay. Good. Whoa, you're able to react to my words? Whoa, that's kind of cool. Okay. Picture B. Sorry, I'll just some technical difficulties. Sounds like Roscoe and potentially V can't hear us.
Sorry, Abby, can I go?
Yes, please.
Thanks. Hello, everyone. My name is Vaibhav. Pronouns he, him, his, and access needs are met. Just, I guess, it was the internet connection.
Okay, no worries at all. Roscoe, are you able to hear us and do an intro now? In the chat, he says, hi, my name is Roscoe. He, him. Access needs audio issues. Okay, gotcha. All right, next we will move on to society staff. We have the board organizer.
Hi everyone, this is Ella. Pronouns are she, her, hers, and all of my access needs are met. Thank you.
Thank you. And I believe we have our temporary operations organizer.
Hi all, Sindhu here. Pronouns she, her, hers, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you, Sindhu. All right. I believe now we can move on to the, oh, sorry, no. We have a guest here. We have the RHA counselor. If you want to do an intro.
Morning, everyone. My name is Manuel. EM is access needs are met. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, Emmanuel. All right. Now we can move on to the consent agenda. Oh, actually, no, I forgot our admin assistant. Would you like to do an intro? In the chat, hello, my name is Rianne, she, her, all my access needs are met. Thank you, Rianne. Now, for the third and final time, we can move on to consent agenda. Consent agenda reads, be it resolved to adopt the consent agenda by unanimous consent. All we have is our minutes from the Monday, not that long ago. Is there anyone against adopting these minutes? I'm just going to seek unanimous consent on this. If you wish to dissent, please use the raise hand function on Zoom and I'll call on you for your vote. Seeing none, that passes. All right. Next, what we have is adoption of the agenda, and the motion reads, be it resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. I will move that. Can I get a seconder, please?
PP external.
PP external seconds. We're going to have a slew of amendments here, I am sure. So, give me 1 second. Just going to open up a little document. Alrighty. So first, oh my gosh, what is this? 5 executives? Holy cow. My God. All right. Roscoe, you are first. If you need to type it out, that's all good as well. Roscoe, if you need time to type it out, do you want us to move on to Ishana and then we can come back to you? Yes. Okay, Ishana, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, it's just a long motion. It's the one I forwarded to execs, just pasting it. Oh my. 1 sec, sorry.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read it all out right now?
If you want to, or if you want me to, either way is fine.
Okay, I'll read it out really quick. So the title is RHA Whistler Trip Subsidized Cost. That's the title. Whereas the Residence Hall Association, RHA, is a student-run organization made up of residents who have been elected by their peers and advocated on behalf of the residents' population to voice concerns, plan events and programs to encourage community building and act as role models within the community, where several residents have requested that the RHA host a typical and annual winter Whistler trip after 3 years of not having this trip. Whereas in response, the RHA has put out a survey regarding the trip, and results indicate a great interest in the reactivation of this retreat, with about 250 students interested in attending. Whereas the RHA are planning for this retreat to take place on February 4th, 2023, whereas the transportation for this trip is approximately $11,100, meaning students will have to pay around $35 each to come on this trip, including more costs for renting equipment for winter sports activities, whereas the RHA's goal is to ensure that all students may attend this trip if they wish and believe it is in RHA's best interest to ensure that this trip is financially accessible to undergraduate students, of whom are constituents, in order to encourage participation and community building within this retreat. Whereas the SFSS is also a student-led organization that represents advocates to make undergraduate student life better and more inclusive while providing resources and services that represent, connect, and benefit membership. Whereas the RHA would like for the SFSS to support this retreat that encourages student flourishing and connection by subsidizing the cost for students to make it more affordable and accessible, not only for resident students to participate, but also for undergraduate students to attend as well. Be it resolved that the SFSS Executive Committee approves of $5,000 to help subsidize the pricing for students attending the RHA Whistler trip. Be it further resolved that the SFSS promotes this retreat on their social medias, including Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Thank you, Ishana. I'm looking forward to reading that out again. You're going to move that, I assume? Yes. Can we get a seconder?
Events.
Ooh, we got equity and events at the same time. Think I might have heard equity slightly faster, so I'm going to give that to equity. Is there any discussion on this? Ishana, go ahead.
Oh, wait, yeah, so sorry. Also, I was wondering if this motion could go first. Oh, well, I guess it already is first because new business will come after this, right?
Yes, unless someone puts on a report or a presentation, then yes.
Yeah, okay. If like a report or presentation gets on, can we have this motion first just so Emmanuel can speak on it because he has class after?
Sounds good. You want this directly after the adoption of the agenda?
Yes, please.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there, sorry, that okay sounded sarcastic. I want to be clear, I was not being sarcastic there. I realize in hindsight. Was there any other discussion on this item? Seeing none, I want to take this to a vote. We're going to seek unanimous consent on this. If you wish to dissent, please use the raise hand function on Zoom and I'll call on you for your vote. Seeing none, that passes. All right, so that is now amended onto the agenda. Next, Roscoe, are you ready yet? Yes, please go ahead. Two motions. The first one is titled SFSS Executive Committee Endorsement of Accessibility Shuttle Proposal. Let me see if this thing lets me copy. So if this thing does, that would be hecka helpful. Oh, it doesn't. Okay. All right, Roscoe. Either if you can upload it in a PDF or if you can just have them ready to copy paste, that'd be spectacular. Oh, you can, please. Thank you so much. That would be spectacular. Thank you. All right. So just for accessibility, I'm gonna read aloud both these items. First motion reads SFSS Executive Committee Endorsement of Accessibility Shuttle Proposal. Whereas the SFSS Student Advocate and Accessibility Coordinator have sent in campus accessibility shuttle proposal to the Executive Committee. Whereas the proposal has been reviewed by student groups such as the Women's Center, FMESA, and DNA. Whereas the proposal seeks to prioritize mobility for all campus space users while paying particular attention to the challenges faced by those with disabilities, mobility challenges, and strollers. Whereas the SFSS supports accessibility as outlined in our issues policy. Be it resolved, the SFSS Executive Committee formally endorsed the accessibility shuttle proposal as attached to the meeting minutes. Oh, that's what you meant. We'll upload PDF in a bit. My apologies, Roscoe. And the next amendment, the title is Out on Campus Gender Affirming Products Purchase Approval. Whereas Out on Campus is requesting funding from the Executive Committee for a recurring purchase for their department above the allocated $3,000 threshold. Be it resolved, the Executive Committee approves $3,303.30 for Out on Campus to purchase gender affirming products from line item 795.17. Those are the two amendments. Roscoe moves those. Can we get a seconder?
EP External.
EP External seconds. Is there any discussion on this other than the fact there's like 4 3s and a 6-digit number? That's a lot of 3s. Seeing none, we'll take this to a vote. We're going to seek unanimous consent on this. Seeking unanimous consent, if you wish to dissent, please use the raise hand function on Zoom and I'll call on you for your vote. Seeing none, this passes. All right. 1 second here. I believe I was next on the list. I was, so I'm going to be moving to add an in-camera discussion item titled SFU SFSS MOU. I'll move that. Can I get a seconder, please?
VP External.
VP External seconds. Any discussion on this? Seeing none, we'll take this to a vote. We're going to seek unanimous consent on this. Seeking unanimous consent, pardon me. If you wish to dissent, please use the raise hand function on Zoom and I'll call on you for your vote. Seeing none, that passes. Alrighty. Next, we had Sungyeon. Sungyeon wanted to add an in-camera item titled Hillel Jewish Student Association Events. Sungyeon moves that. Can we get a seconder, please?
Events.
Event seconds. Is there a discussion on this? Seeing none, we'll take this to a vote. We're going to seek unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please use the raise hand function on Zoom and I'll call on you for your vote. Seeing none, that passes. And last but not least, V.
It's an in-camera discussion as well. I'm just posting it here.
Yeah, take your time. V would like an in-camera discussion entitled SFSS Pub Night. All right, V moves. Can we get a seconder, please?
VP equity.
VP Equity seconds. All right, any discussion on this? Seeing none, we'll take this to a vote. We're going to seek unanimous consent. Seeking unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please use the raise hand function on Zoom, and I'll call on you to, for your vote. Seeing none, this passes. All right, so this means we can move into new business. The first item of which is the RHA Whistler trip subsidized costs. Sean, are you able to post everything in the chat again, just so people are following along, they can see it again, if that's possible? Thank you. And this time I will read it out loud, so that way if we can spread our vocal cords instead of just putting it on one person. Thank you. Title reads RHA Whistler trip subsidized costs, and the motion reads as follows. Whereas the RHA is a student-run organization made up of residents who have been elected by their peers and advocated on behalf of the residents' population to voice concerns, plan events, and programs to encourage community building and act as role models within the community. Whereas several residents have requested the RHA host the typical and annual winter trip after 3 years of not having this retreat. Whereas in response, the RHA has put out a survey regarding the trip, and the trip indicates great interest in the reactivation of this retreat, with about 250 students interested in attending. Whereas the RHA are planning for this retreat to take place on February 4th, 2023. Whereas the transportation cost for this trip is approximately $11,100, meaning students will have to pay about $35 each to come on this trip, including more costs for renting equipment for winter sports activities. Whereas the RHA's goal is to ensure that all students may attend this trip if they wish, and believe it's in RHA's best interest to ensure that this trip is financially accessible to undergraduate students, of whom are our constituents, in order to encourage participation and community building within this retreat. Whereas the SFSS is also a student-led organization that represents advocates to make undergraduate student life better and more inclusive, while providing resources and services that represent, connect, and benefit membership. Whereas RHA would like to support this retreat that encourages student flourishing and connection by subsidizing the cost for students to make it more accessible and affordable for not only resident students to participate, but also undergraduate students who would like to attend as well. Be it resolved that the SFSS Executive Committee approves of $5,000 to help subsidize the pricing for students attending the RHA Whistler trip. Be it further resolved that the SFSS promotes this retreat on their social medias, including Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Can I get a mover, please?
VP External.
VP External moves. Can we get a seconder?
VP equity.
VP Equity seconds. All right, Roscoe, you have listed on this. You can go ahead. Oh, that's right, you're gonna be typing. Oh, Roscoe would like to make an amendment. Okay. So there are a couple more be it further resolved clauses Roscoe has added. So I'm just going to read out the whole amendment. I assume, Roscoe, you want to keep all the whereas clauses as is, correct? Yes, okay. So it'll be just the be it resolved clauses changing, and he wants to have them as follows. Be it resolved that the SFSS Executive Committee approves of $5,000 to help subsidize the price of students attending the RHA Whistler trip. Be it further resolved that the SFSS provided a subsidy of tickets. The SFSS provided subsidy of tickets is only applied to tickets purchased by SFSS members. Be it further resolved that the RHA includes all attendees purchasing an SFSS subsidized ticket must be members of the SFSS. SFSS members are undergraduate students. Information may be verified with the Simon Fraser Student Society to ensure those with this tier of tickets are entitled to SFSS provided subsidy on RHA's event ticketing platform. Be it further resolved that RHA provides the SFSS privacy officer with a full list of attendees, including information, names, and any other information collected by RHA and the ticketing platform, providing those who have attended with the SFSS subsidy for audit and verification purposes. Be it further resolved that RHA announced that the subsidized ticket price is due to the SFSS's donation of funds on their advertising materials, and that all SFSS members are encouraged to attend and get the subsidized ticket price. All right, Roscoe moves that. I'll second. Is there any discussion on this? List, Roscoe, go ahead. And Roscoe says, this is just to ensure that we are following proper protocol as we are using SFSS levy for this. So to make sure all SFSS members can attend. Sounds good. Is there any other discussion on this amendment? I'll give it a 3, 2, 1. All right. We're going to take this to a vote. I'm going to seek unanimous consent on this. Seeking unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please use the raise hand function on Zoom and I'll call on you for your vote. I'm not seeing any, so this amendment passes. We're now back to the amended motion. Is there any discussion on the amended motion? I'm not seeing anything in the chat, so I'm going to take this to a vote. Seeking unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please use the raise hand function on Zoom and I'll call on you for your vote. Seeing none, this passes unanimously. Congratulations, Emmanuel. Hope you guys get a full turnout and everyone has a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Take care, eh? You can feel free to stay if you like, or if you want to go, no hard feelings.
I would love to stay, but I got to run for class. But thank you guys so much. And yeah, we hope to have a great trip.
Sounds good. Have a good class.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ishan. I think you're already ahead of me here. Our next item is the SFSS Executive Committee endorsement of accessibility shuttle proposal. And if you could paste that in the chat, that'd be spectacular. And you already have. Beautiful. All right. The motion reads as follows. Whereas the SFSS Student Advocate and Accessibility Coordinator have sent in a campus accessibility shuttle proposal to the Executive Committee. Whereas the proposal has been reviewed by student groups such as the Women's Center, FNMISA, and DNA. Whereas the proposal seeks to prioritize mobility for all campus space users while paying particular attention to the challenges faced by those with disabilities, mobility challenges, and strollers. Whereas the SFSS supports accessibility as per our issues policies, be it resolved that the SFSS Executive Committee formally endorsed the accessibility shuttle proposal as proposed, accessibility shuttle proposal as attached to the meeting minutes. And Roscoe has put the PDF in the chat for those who want to look at it. Would the exec have interest in me screen sharing this, or does everyone just want to look at this on their own? Any indication in the chat? Fine with either. Looked at it on my own. Okay. I'm not saying anyone who wants me to screen share it, so we're not going to bother with it then. Oh, Chloe wants to screen share. Yes. Okay, cool. Oh, Chloe, if you want it screen shared, it's not an issue. I can definitely screen share it. It's up to you. Sorry, I could just get confirmation one way or the other. Would you like it screen shared? No worries. Okay, cool. All right. Is there any discussion on this proposal? Ishana, please go ahead.
Yeah, I saw Roscoe listed. I'm just wondering who made this proposal. It looks great.
Thank you. Sorry, Roscoe, I missed you. Oh no, you're after. Okay. Roscoe, you have a direct response. Go ahead. So Roscoe has put in the chat, Trish has shared this with me. Turns out this proposal was made last year, but never hit exec. And Trish is waiting for exec to approve it. Okay, so it sounds like a bit of miscommunication there. Ella, if you also want to be able to speak on that, you can go ahead.
Yeah, so just to provide a little bit of context, this proposal was actually forwarded by Trish a little over a year ago, last year, I would say September, if I'm correct. So originally it was supposed to come forward before SFU actually put a stop to the accessibility shuttle, which they did last year when we were still having our JOG meetings. It was intended to come to exec, but never ended up coming to exec over the course of the last year. So we've been working on, adjusting it as it goes so that we can bring it to exec eventually.
Okay, thank you, Ella. Is there any further discussion on this beyond the question Ishana asked, which Roscoe and Ella have answered? I am not seeing anything in the chat, so if people are comfortable, we can go forward with the vote. I haven't heard any dissension, so I'm going to seek unanimous consent on this. Seek unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, or if you want to have longer discussion on this, please use the raise hand function on Zoom and I'll call on you for your vote. I'm not seeing any, so this passes unanimously. All right, thank you, Ishana. The next item is titled Out on Campus Gender Affirming Products Purchase Approval. And the motion reads as follows. Whereas Out on Campus is requesting funding approval from the executive committee for a reoccurring purchase from their department above the allocated $3,000 threshold. Be a result, the executive committee approved $3,303.30 for Out on Campus to purchase gender affirming products from line item 79517. Roscoe has thrown a PDF of the order, I assume, in the chat. Can we get a mover?
VP external.
VP external moves. Can we do a seconder?
VP internal.
VP internal seconds. Roscoe, you have the floor. Oh, yes, to clarify, PDF in the chat is both the check rec and the invoice and all that. And Roscoe has said in the chat, this is coming from the Out on Campus budget. We just need to approve it as over 3K. Yeah, this is definitely a rubber stamper. So I think we'll, oh, Sindhu, go ahead.
Sorry, I think this was my bad. It should actually be 795.27.
Good catch. I'm going to move to amend the second be it resolved clause, or sorry, the only be it resolved clause, and replace line item 795.17 with 795.27. Thank you, Ishana. Yeah, just the second be it resolved clause. If you could replace 795.17 with 795.27. Thank you. I'll move that amendment. Can we get a seconder, please?
VP external.
VP external seconds. We have to use the right line item, so I'm just going to take this to a vote, seeking unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please use the raise hand function on Zoom and I'll call on you for your vote. Seeing none, that passes. All right, so back to the amended motion. Is there any discussion on the amended motion? Again, this is fairly rubber stamp. Thank you, Sindhu, for catching that. Always helpful when your operations organizer knows their finances, for sure. All right, seeing none, we're going to take this to a vote, seeking unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please use the raise hand function on Zoom and I'll call on you for your vote. Seeing none, that passes. All right. Yeah, I think we're done with new business, so I believe we're moving in camera. All righty. So the motion reads, be it resolved to go in camera for the remainder of the meeting. Oh, sorry. I'll move. Can we get a seconder?
I think Roscoe listed.
Yeah, I was just going to take it after we get the seconder. That's okay.
Internal.
Internal seconds. Roscoe, you have a list? Oh, sorry. So we actually have we have before that, which was on the original agenda, was Roscoe's in-camera item, student safety concern. So that would be order in camera would be student safety concern, SFU, MOU, Hillel Students Association events, and then SFSS Pub Night in that order. Thank you for pointing that out, Roscoe. Wait, what? What? Roscoe, what are we missing? We have mine, Sungyeon's, MV's in-camera items. Ishana amended on one new business item, and you amended on one new business item, Roscoe. And then the only item on the in-camera was the student safety concern. And just to clarify, did you still want to do student safety concern, or did you want that removed? We can do it. Okay. All right. We've already got a mover and seconder. Seems like discussion has been exhausted, so I'm going to take this to a vote. I'm going to seek unanimous consent on this. Seeking unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please use the raise hand function on Zoom, and I'll call you for your vote. Seeing none, this passes. All right, everyone, welcome back. We are now going to move X camera. The motion reads, be resolved to go X camera for the remainder of the meeting. I'll move. Can I get a seconder, please?
BP external.
External seconds. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll take this to a vote. I'm going to seek unanimous consent on this. Seeking unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please use the raise hand function on Zoom, and I'll call on you for your vote. Seeing none, that passes. And now, lastly, we have adjournment. And the motion reads, be it resolved to adjourn the meeting at 10:55 a.m. I will move. Can we get a seconder, please?
BP external.
BP external seconds. Is there any discussion on this? Anyone really want to stay here in particular? Nope. Seeing none, we're going to take this to a vote. Seeking unanimous consent. If you wish to dissent, please use the raise hand function on Zoom, and I'll call on you for your vote. Seeing none, this passes.